Hello. I think I'm on here. I think I'm good to go. Hello everyone. If you are on here and you can hear me correctly, I have a little bit different setup than I usually use. If you could go ahead and write in the comments that you are seeing me properly, that'd be awesome. You can hear me mostly, actually. And I'm going to go real quick and throw some more lights on. Please, I'm looking a little dark here. I'm going to throw some more lights on me, and please write in the comments if you just give a shout out, a hi if you're here in the comments. And if you have any particular questions you'd like answered today, please put those in the comments now from when we get started. Okay, here we are. We are, I think, ready to start. Okay, so we're talking about communication. Now, when it comes to communication, it's the Communicate Effectively season right now. So Communicate Effectively season starts today and goes for the next, goes now until in July. The exact date you can discover on the 13seasons.org website. So if you go to the 13seasons.org website, on the top it says the 13 virtues, and it has a link to Communicate Effectively. You can go through there, and it'll tell you that Communicate Effectively is from June 10th to July 7th. And so that will help you out. So and I'm sorry for everyone that I know that I'm not in the place that you record these at. I had to record them in a different place today, and it's a little bit awkward. And I apologize for that. Some technical things are a little awkward, but here we are. Okay, so we have from June 10th to July 7th is the date of the communication season. So I'm putting this out, the evening before we about to start the season, because tomorrow is a busy day for me mostly. So thank you, Josiah. That is straightforward. Effective communication is important. And here's the thing about communication. Communication, in my mind, is really, really rooted with the idea of selflessness. If we wanted to just exist as independent beings and not have any connection to anyone else ever, then communication would not be necessary. Communication exists so that we can exist with others. That's why it's there. And so the idea of selflessness is really, really the heart of communication in a lot of ways, because I guess I can communicate with ego and communicate with selfishness and communicate to get other people to do things for me. But if you want to be selfish and start out as a selfish being and stay selfish forever, then, why not just exist by yourself and not exist with others at all? If we're going to exist with others, let's exist, in order to make the experience for others better, right? And we want to look after ourselves too, and we want others to help make our experience better. We want to give and receive, right? It's part of the symbol of the figure eight, right? A figure eight, you can imagine two beings, there's a figure eight between them, showing that they each are giving and receiving back and forth. And that's important, creates balance, right? Between the two beings. If I am constantly being selfless towards others, but no one's being selfless towards me, then I'm going to get burnt out really fast. I'm going to get lonely and kind of like feel taken advantage of. And frankly, I'm going to probably end up in a situation, if others don't have the chance to serve me, that's not good for them. So it's important to go both ways, of course. But when we're communicating, if we can keep selflessness in mind, it's going to help us a lot. Now, communication has 3 virtues. And the 3 virtues, or the 3 principles, I guess, of communication are: consider content, consider context, and consider delivery. So I'm talking about consider content. What I mean by that is that it's important to think about like what's actually being said. So you're listening to people, hear what they're saying to you when you speak, think about the actual words or message being sent. And if we want to feel connected to others and not feel lonely in this world, a lot of people feel real lonely right now. I was recently watching a really great YouTube video from Psychology in a Nutshell. I highly recommend them. If you haven't checked out their channel, go check it out. And they were talking about how, in this video, they're talking about how a lot of people are really lonely today. Like really, really lonely. There's a lot of loneliness in the world. And they talked about various reasons why there's so much loneliness, but there really is an attitude. They were talking about how people seem to, if a relationship isn't going well, the advice we get to just jettison it instantly. It's like, this person treated me bad once. And then the advice everyone on social media gives them is, you don't need that person in your life. And then everyone's just kind of jettisoning relationships. And there's just a lot of lonely people. And so we don't really want to do that. We want to be connected with people. We also want to be connected genuinely, right? There's some people who sometimes we are interacting with others, but we don't actually feel connected, right? And sometimes that comes from the fact that we're not presenting our true selves to others, right? We go to interact with other people and we put on a mask. And we pretend to be someone we're really not. And we pretend to have beliefs we don't really have, to fit in with them better. Or we pretend to kind of have a different personality than we really have to fit in with them better. We have kind of move with a different energy than is natural to us to fit in with others. And then we're not really connecting with others because we're not being our true selves. Now, we don't feel belonging because people are accepting like a fake us. And so we don't feel like we belong because the real us isn't being accepted. Now, the tricks of this is that if we're going to put forward our true selves, and that's the content of what we say, if we're going to speak as our true selves, there's a few things we're going to need in place. If we're going to speak as our true selves, we're going to need to feel safe around people. Because if we're with people we don't feel safe around, people that might hurt us if we speak as our true selves, then, we're not going to feel comfortable doing that. So we're going to have to figure that out. So we're going to need to find some people who are our people, the certain people that we can be ourselves with, that we know won't hurt us when we do it. We need to find those people. But then the other trick is there are times we're going to be around people who we can't safely be our true selves around it. They will like harm us. And this is where meekness comes in. Meekness is the ability to do something in spite of the fact that people might hurt us when we do it. This goes back to that great Mother Teresa quote where she says things like, it's a big long quote I have in front of me, but she says things like, if you do this, people might take advantage if you do it anyways, right? So meekness is the ability to do the thing that's the right thing to do, even though someone else might treat us badly because of it and just do it anyways. Now we got to have boundaries with that, because if people are going to treat us a certain level of bad, that's, that you might not want to do that, right? But if we can do that, if we can learn meekness, then we can kind of put up like a really appropriate kind of barrier around ourselves. And instead of putting up imagine like an energy bubble, but instead of putting up a bubble that is like a barrier between us and the other person where we just don't let anything through, because that's going to prevent us from being our true selves with people. Instead, we can communicate in a way where we have a barrier that allows us to let our true selves out. But then when they speak back to us in a way that would be harmful, we can like block it and not let us affect us. So it's kind of like a barrier that lets some things through, but not all things. And we can kind of create this certain kind of emotional barrier that's something that we can do and learn to do it. And at the end of this live stream, I will lead us through a meditation that'll help us create that kind of emotional filter for ourselves. Now, another thing that can really help is that as we go being our genuine selves with people, we also need to consider the context, right? So we want to say the genuine true thing, but we also want to say genuine true thing, taking the context into account, right? We want to take it, what's the situation we're talking in? Who are we with? You know, what have they been through? What's been happening? And we take the context into account. It is good to modify what we're communicating based on the context, right? If we're going to, there's ways we can, I can be my true self and say what's true, but I might be able to say what's true in these 3 different ways. And either way, it's true to me. And I can pick this one over these 2 because this one's going to be received better in the context I'm in. So we got to balance that, speaking what's true, no matter what, and speaking genuinely and be true to who we are, and balance that with the people the audience that we're speaking to, and being like sensitive to their situation and situation we're in when we speak. And then we have those 2 things in place. We can also consider delivery. And delivery is just taking into account all the different ways we could say the thing so that we're speaking what's true to the appropriate person in the best way possible, right? So we can deliver things. Is it better to get this message across in a text, or is this a message better for a call? Is it better for in person? Is video better? Is just audio fine? There's lots of things we can take into account with any kind of communication we're doing. What tone of voice is best? What sequence should we present the information in that's going to come across best? So we can consider the content, the context, and the delivery. These 3 things correspond really well to some an old Jewish proverb. There's an old kind of Jewish proverb or tradition where they say that whenever you say something, it's like a rabbinic teaching. Whenever you say something, ask yourself, is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? And you'll see those correspond to the 3 things we just said, right? So content, are we speaking true content? Is it necessary? Take into account the context. In this context, does it really need to be said? And then is it kind? That has to do with the delivery. Are we delivering in a way that's we could deliver it a few different ways and have it still be true to us. What's the kindest way to deliver it? And as we take those things into account, we can really be effective to people. All right, we're going to keep this one short today. I'm going to move into a meditation now to help us apply what we just learned. And then we'll end this live stream, and you can move forward with your communication season and have fun and enjoy growing in communication so you can feel more authentic with people, and your communication can be more selfless and more helpful to people around you. And that's going to be awesome because we're really going to connect with people more and feel like the true us and the true them are connecting instead of like dishonesty or insincerity or anything like that being in the way. And we can also, as we move forward with this, we can also start taking accountability for ourselves more, because as we're honest with people, we're going to be honest about things like, yeah, I did that and it hurt you and I'm sorry. And we're not going to like hold that back to make ourselves look better. We're going to like really say how we really like messed up. And when we do that, we're going to stop going around trying to like hold things up and pretend like we didn't mess up. And we're just going to go, yeah, I messed up, and then move on and not have to worry about things anymore, because we can just move on from them instead of like keeping them inside of us and not just taking accountability. Accountability is the best way to lighten your load and move on. All right, so here we go, meditation. Okay, so you can close your eyes now. I like to sit up straight when I meditate or lay down. I would not, or sitting cross-legged is fun too. I wouldn't cross your arms at all. Keep your arms uncrossed. I usually like to keep my arms just on top of my knees, usually with my palms up. We're just going to sit here. We're going to take some breaths. We're going to focus on our breathing. The best way we can clear our mind of thoughts is not to say, don't have thoughts. Because if we say don't have thoughts, we're going to be fighting against ourselves. And that's not going to feel good. So Buddha never said, clear yourself of thoughts. Buddha, in the Buddhist teachings, Buddha says, focus on your breathing. Because it turns out that if you're just paying attention to each breath, you can't think about anything else. Let's just pay attention to our breathing now. Notice each breath. Let each breath be the entirety of the universe. Each breath is the only thing there is in this universe right now. Let the space between breaths disappear so that your breathe in comes up and then just moves naturally into going out without any space in between. This is the one breath. In and out, merge into one without any space in between. If you're sitting down, imagine the sensation of yourself standing up. So while your body's sitting down, in your mind, see yourself standing up. If you're standing up, you can see yourself sitting down. And if you're laying down, you can see yourself sitting down. So while you're sitting, imagine, have the sensation in your body of doing a different posture. Now we're going to become aware of a color. We're going to let this color fill our entire awareness. You can pick any color you want. Just see that color fully before you. So that's the only thing you're aware of, whichever color you pick. You're not aware of anything but that color. This color, pure, the only color before you, this color is true. This color is your true personality, who you really be, your true self, your true voice. Be totally aware of this color so your true voice fills the entirety of your awareness. Put this color all through your body. Put it in your arms and your hands. Put it in your shoulders, your neck, all through your head, and your face. Put it in down your whole back and your front, into your thighs, your knees, your shins, your feet. Let it fill everything that you are, so that you are all this color. All of you is your true voice. Breathe in and out. We're going to breathe again. This time when you breathe and you breathe out, imagine this whole color going into another person. And this is like speaking. When you speak, you're breathing out, you're speaking, and you're speaking to someone else and sending them the truth of who you are. Without any apologies, without any disclaimers. Who you are is who you is right now. That's who you be. And you can't be anyone else right now. That's just who you are at the moment. It's impossible to be anyone else but who you are right now. So there's no need to apologize for that. Over time in the future, as you live the virtues of the seasons, who you are will change over time. Over time, you'll get new strengths and your voice will alter and you'll become more virtuous and who you are will change over time. But right now, you are who you are right now and you can't change that right now. So there's no need to apologize or feel embarrassed or shame. This is who you are. Breathe who you are into this person without any apologies. Then as you breathe in, become aware of breathing in who they are. And you don't need to be critical of them in any way. You don't need to send any shame their way. Because you're confident and you don't need to apologize for who you are, you don't need to let your ego put others down or to make yourself feel better. You can just accept who others are too. And so as you breathe out, who you are is going into them. As you breathe in, you're bringing in their color, and who they are is coming into you. And this is what it's like to really connect with another person. And if we bring more people in the conversation, now there's like a circle of people in a conversation, all talking together. And as you breathe in all of them and the nuances of each person. It's like each of them has their own sweet, wonderful smell or taste. And as you breathe in, you can taste and smell what's unique about each of them all at once. And each person's contributing to the conversation, and each person's personality and voice matters in this conversation. Your voice and personality matters in conversations. Everyone's does. Not everyone agrees on everything in the conversation. That's okay, because we can, our differences make the group stronger, because our differences, we can weigh them against each other, and that brings new talents and new strengths to the overall being that is all of us together. And that's wonderful. And that's beautiful. A rainbow is beautiful because it has different colors. Because we don't need to apologize for who we are. We don't need to feel insecure here, and we don't need to try to be better than anyone else or try to get anyone else to see us in a good light or convince anyone else that we're worthy to be here or worry about what other people are thinking of us. We can just contribute to the conversation. And we can say things that help the other people notice how great they are, put them at ease. And together we can just productively solve problems with our energy flowing freely, because insecurity isn't getting in the way of just when we converse in a way where we're spending a lot of our time trying to apologize for who we are, then we're not just putting our energy into solving the problem at hand. So now with this group of people, we can just solve whatever problems before us. Maybe if there's a particular problem in your life that you're trying to solve right now, you can just be aware of yourself talking with these other people here that you're aware of. You can ask them for help with your specific problem and see if you get any messages back. I thought of some problem for me, someone that I have trouble forgiving. And I just asked my little committee here that I've assembled, and I asked them if they have any advice for how to forgive this person. And some emotions instantly came up that are traumatic in connection with this person. So right now I'm tapping the side of my palm right here, which is a great place to tap to process emotions. So I'm just tapping that into the table here where I'm sitting and tapping and processing those emotions so that those don't need to get in the way of my relationship with this person. And I'm not going to take care of all of it right now because it's a big thing and there's a lot to it. So I'm just going to process a little bit of it, and I can come back to the rest of it later, and that's okay. It'd be overwhelming to do all of it right now. Now, we're here. Let's work on a filter we can use, a filter of meekness. Let's create that to end our meditation. So become aware. First, you want to become aware of your higher power, whoever your higher power is. For me, my higher power is Jesus. Your higher power might go by some other name. You might call your higher power God or Allah or the universe or the collective consciousness. You might call it your higher power. You might just be the greater good, the sky. It doesn't matter what you call your higher power. Your higher power will help you, whatever name you call it by, whatever resonates with you is good. So call it to your higher power. Become aware of your higher power now. Sorry, I feel the love of my higher power. And it's really overwhelming in some ways. So you can be aware of your higher power now. Sorry, someone's trying to call me a bunch and I'm telling them to go away. Okay, you can become aware of your higher power now. And once you're aware of your higher power, you can ask your higher power to help you create a bubble of meekness for yourself. With your higher power, with kind of your mind combined with your higher power's mind, can just weave this around you. Just imagine it coming into shape. And maybe you might have some other angels or helpers, spiritual helpers who work with your higher power, beings who really love you, who will come and weave this with you. They love us so much. Ask for their help to weave this bubble with you. And you're going to weave this bubble so it's going to have like little threads that weave together all around you, threads of energy. And it's clear. No one else can see it but you. And weave it together. And because it has threads of energy together, in between the weaves, there's little holes in it all over the place. And we're going to get it all the way around us, and we're going to program it. So once you have your bubble in place all around you, you're going to program this bubble. And when you take the color you used at the beginning of this meditation, the color that represents your voice, and program this bubble so that your voice can go through it. And test it. Take your color and send it through and make sure it can go through. If you can't find your voice getting through the bubble, if something's stopping that, then ask your higher power to come and help you, and ask your higher power to touch the parts of you that don't want to let your voice through, and ask your higher power to heal you in those parts. Ask them to take from you things you don't need anymore that stop your voice from going through your bubble. You can tap on your hand a little more if you need to let go of some trauma that way. When you're ready, test it again. Take your color and try sending it through the bubble and make sure it can go through. Okay. Let it go all the way through to the other person, to like any person you might talk to, and let your color connect to them through the bubble. So the bubble does not stop your color from getting to them. Now, when other people speak, your bubble is going to let their words through. So their words are going to be able to get to you so that you can hear their words and understand what they're saying. Their words are going to get through just fine. And the true core of who they are, the part of them that is their truest, highest self, you're going to let that part of them through. But the parts of them and their emotions and their trauma, their ego, the parts of them that would be triggering for you, or the parts of them that would do harm for you, those parts are going to be blocked by your bubble and can't get through. So be aware of someone that you spoke to recently or might speak to soon, someone who tends to be very triggering for you.